If you could live green, would you? I'm Nick Fedorov, host of Things Green, where we introduce nuggets of green lifestyle from gardening, upcycling, answering your questions, sustainability, even discussing environmental issues. You can become more confident in making the right decisions for you and your family. So come along as we are Things Green. Okay, so we're going to do a little cleaning up because sometimes life just gets ahead of me. One of the things that we want to do, especially when we're working out in the sun, is to make sure that we have some protection on our head from the sun, suntan lotion, all that. Oddly enough, most of our work today is going to be in the greenhouse. But that being said, which hat would you rather me wear here? Now this one right here, there's a story behind it. All right, so we're just going to go like this. Hey there. All right, there's a story behind it. We have a friend of mine, great friend of the show as well, he's been on the program with us. He and I went to Canada and he wanted to buy a hat. I saw this hat and decided to buy it, and because he can't make up his own decisions for himself, he decided to be a copycat and get a hat just like it. But it was absolutely hilarious and fun when we did so that was a great trip. But I think I'm gonna wear this one instead, because I like this one too. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to go, hey there. Okay, so before we go in, I noticed that we had some weeds. Weed control is so important, and there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Now, I'm going to share something with you that is not necessarily, let's put it this way, I need you to be safe about it, because it works really well, especially if you're going organic, any kind of organic gardening. Okay, because you got to remember that anytime you do organic things, you're killing good bugs. Now, there are ways of killing weeds, not organically, you know, with glyphosates and other kind of chemicals, or what you could do is you could go the organic way and use something like vinegar. But vinegar does, because it's an acid, it does sit in the soil for a little bit. So what do? We're going to fight fire with fire. So you have to be very careful about what I'm going to show you right now. What we want to do is that there's different kind of torches that you can use to kill your weeds off. And we think to ourselves, well, wait a minute, why would we want to do that? It's fire, it's dangerous. It is, but we're not burning the weed down to the ground. All we're doing is taking our fire and just going right over the weed, slow enough to where it burns its outer cuticle or the waxy coating on it. That right there will stop the sun from coming in and baking on it and growing and having the weed grow any longer. So this right here is a real simple little torch. I have torches that are backpack filled. I have torches that you can carry on carts. I have all different sizes, but this right here is a real fun one, because not only do we use it for the weeds, but you can actually use this to start your barbecue. And how cool is that? So what we do here is we need to get these 1 pound canisters of propane. Now, I normally have the refillable kind. This is not a refillable kind. And then we have our little torcheroonie thing over here. So our torcheroonie thing kind of goes like this, and that's where the flame is going to be coming out of. And if you're not in the sun, if you're in the shade, you can see the flame very well. If you're in the sun, it's very difficult. And then what we do is that we just need to screw this on right here. And you have to kind of push it on in order to get it so that it catches. So I'm just going to twist it like this. And then that's nice and tight. We don't want to over tighten it now. Now what we want to do is we want to take this and we're going to turn this on. But before we do so, I want to take and I want to use my I want to use my my Fire Stick over here. Now this is kind of interesting because this is an electronic one, and it throws an electrode across like this. If you get those electrodes dirty, the thing doesn't work any longer. But I like this because it's not real fire, and you just press a little button, and I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, that's a little thingy-majiggy there. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to, turn our gas on. Come down here. The gas is already coming out, and now it's on. So I don't know if you can see that flame or not. That's pretty cool. Whoop! I turned it off. Back on. I can barely see the flame from here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find our weeds, and as you can tell, I have a lot of bark around. It'd be nice to have a source of water just in case something catches on fire. But all we're doing is this right here. This is going to kill the top of the weeds right here. That's all we're doing, just barely touching it. That's it. So we have another weed that's right here. We're going to do this. That's done. Okay, here, let's come over here. I got another thing of weeds right here. We're just burning the cuticle off. And again, if you're going to be around bark like this, you got to be real careful. Now, here's the other thing. Do not, absolutely do not take and do this to dry weeds. Don't do this to dry weeds at all. This is how fast you go. It's just done. Just that simple. And then we don't want to waste any of this. And then let's go inside the greenhouse over here. Hey, but before we go in the greenhouse, we noticed something over here. Let's have, let me show you this. Okay, so all right, my peaches are being devastated. You see this? They're being eaten. That means I'm doing a good job. Now, what's interesting about this is that we're going to have, what do we think it is? Does that look like rats getting in there? No, it's actually not rats at all. You see how it's pointy right here? These little points? That tells me that it's birds. So the birds are getting in there and they're eating things up. So what we do is that we should really take and cover them up. There's different kind of bags that you could put, and in fact, you know those little clamshell things you get from the what do you call it, from the market? They get strawberries in. You can take those things, put them over your fruit, and that will help out tremendously too. All right, so we're going to go into the greenhouse over here. Don't get tripped by the pumpkins here. So we're going to come in here, and I have this right here. I have to tell you, this is a huge mess. It's just a huge mess in here. At least it's a huge mess for me. I've seen greenhouses that are really bad, but I have a couple of weeds in here that I want to get rid of. So we're going to go like this. So here's now we're on rock, right? And we're still going to do the same thing. We're just going to take and we're going to just burn off. You see how it gets shiny? Okay, we don't have to do any more than that. That is it. And then I have a couple weeds in the back over here. Let me get them real quick. Now it's going to take just that's hot. It's actually going to take a very short period of time for these things to die. So we're talking, you know, maybe from a couple of hours to no more than 24. And remember, this is just top growth. That's all it is. So what we want to do is that after the 24 hours, we're going to see them all shriveled up. You can knock them down with a hoe, for instance, or a hula hoe, or whatever you got. Knock those things down, and that'll be just fine. And you'll be able to. They're going to grow again, but they're going to be smaller. And then you knock them down again, and then the next time they're going to be smaller. And what ends up happening is you end up ticking off the roots so much because they're not getting the exchanges of starch or sugar through chlorophyll or through any other source. And the plants will, like I said, the plants, because they're weeds though, they will die. All right, so let me put all this away over here. I'll put this down for the moment. Okay, this is my haven in here at the thingsgreen.com Botanical Gardens. It's a very simple greenhouse. I have seen it. You have seen it before on the TV show, and it took quite a long time in order for me to get this thing working, put it together. I want to say it took about maybe 4 or 5 weeks every night for a couple of hours. There were thousands of these little what do you call it, screws and bolts and all that, and I laid it all out in my garage, and then I took them and we put the thing together. And I've had this over at my house, I've had this over at my office, and now here at the thingsgreen.com botanical gardens. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, typically what I do is, because I have chickens, I will take beans and I will plant beans. This is an actual bean plant, and I'll throw the beans on top over here, and then I'll take and I'll cover it up with a little bit of soil. So you could tell that these haven't germinated yet. In fact, I don't even have beans in here this time. I put in a mesclun mix. Was it a mesclun mix? I think it was a mesclun mix. That's a fancy word for bitter lettuce. That's what that is. But I want to just kind of move stuff around over here, and I kind of want to clean things up. Do you ever see this before? I haven't shown anybody this. What's that look like? This looks like a taco, doesn't it? This is from my taco planter. I gave a presentation on there, and maybe one of these days on the TV show I'll show you how I made this. This is the only taco planter in the world because it's not ceramic, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. It makes a really, really great fun thing to do with kids. Okay, so I've got several things that are going on over here. As I said, this is kind of a big old mess. Every single bit of soil that we have, we want to take and we want to save. So what I do is I have this bucket over here, and we're just going to take and save the soil. Trash will end up being thrown away. I don't know what kind of trash is going on over here. We'll take and throw this stuff away, put this over there. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's start off here by getting rid of some of these containers. Now I have these big old signs that I make up. So these were Roma's beefsteak tomatoes. We've got red cherry tomatoes. So we're going to put the steaks over there. I'll clean that up, don't worry. And then we have all these plants over here. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to take and move this all forward. And you know, greenhouses, you're intended to get them dirty like this. I mean, it's just the nature of it. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out, and we have all these soil. These are 100% dead. So I just want the soil at the moment. That's all I want. I don't want the actual plant itself. So, oh, you remember I told you about we're just going to put this over here. Okay. So these are the clamshell things I was telling you about. They can make smaller ones. This one actually was from bread. But if you take this and you put it over some of your fruit, it'll protect it from the critters. Okay. So anyway, soil is very, very expensive. So all we have to do is come in here. And this is just tinkering. That's all it is. You come out here, you do this for 10 minutes. Make sure that your plants are nice and taken care of. They're nice and watered. These plants, I intentionally allowed them to die off like this because I knew that it was too much. I already gave away a whole bunch of plants to friends and relatives. So anyway, so you get the idea right there. So we're going to take and save all that. Then our containers, we'll always take our containers and we're going to save them, and then I'll clean them by washing them in some 10% chlorine. And then once that's taken care of, when that's all done, then what I'll do is I'll use them to plant. So now, believe it or not, some of these things here are things that we're going to plant soon. All this is garlic right here, and one of these days I'm going to show you how to grow the garlic. This right here was a house plant. It's seen better days, so we're gonna recycle. We're definitely recycling this soil right here, and again we'll put that away. This was pretty cool. These right here are peppers. These are poblano peppers. You know, the kind that you buy at the market in the bulk area and they're already pre-dried. So I'll take those. Mrs. Things Green will make something out of the peppers. I'll take the seeds and then I'll replant the seeds and I'll make sure these get out into the garden. But these right here, garlic, we got to get this out of the way. And this is more of this. So all that will eventually get all recycled out. Let's see here. And then, you know, the thing is that you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't, you know, we're not impressing anybody over here by whatever we're doing. This is not impressing whatsoever. But what it is that it's just old stuff. For instance, this is an old school table. They were getting rid of it at the school. Somebody called me up and asked me if I wanted a table. So I took the table and decided to recycle it or upcycle it for the greenhouse. So it's getting a lesson on how to get wet every single day. So we have all this. Now this right here is a potential problem because these are weeds. And so when we do pull this out, we got to make sure that none of the weed seed actually gets into our bucket over here. Okay, so I'm going to be very careful about this, not to destroy it too much. Okay, so this right here happens to be a Ficus benjamina. In fact, it came off of this one right here. This is not Ficus benjamina, Ficus nitida. So this right here is the Ficus nitida, and I don't know what I do with my clippers, but here, can you see what we did over here? I took and I braided these. Trunks together. So what I did is I took clippings off of this and I stuck them in the container here. I think I have 4 of them here now. Let's see, where did I put my clippers at? Okay, well, let's go see. Oh, I know what I could do. Because we have water in here. I got clippers, I got tools. That's stuff going on over here. So what I did is I took a mailbox and I put my tools in here. I cover it up. It's a plastic one. There's no way that water can get in here. Plus, I also put it underneath this stuff right. In fact, even my soil, I take and I put it on a table so that when my sprinkler system goes on, nothing gets wet. All right, so I'll tell you what, let's do this. We have 4 of them. I do not know how to braid 4 things. So maybe what we'll do is, here, let's do this. We're going to braid this. I'm going to cut this off, this, because I need some trunk space to work with. So that's a good trunk space to work with. And this one, look how well, listen. These were all the same size when I first planted them. And I just stuck them in some soil. They took off. These are well rooted. So you can tell the roots are coming down on the bottom over here. Let's see if I can't. Yeah, see, you can tell the roots right here are starting to come out. That's good stuff. All right, so we're going to do this. So we have 1, 2, and we have the 3rd one over here. So braiding is so simple. I've been wanting to do this for a long time with this one. So we're going to go like this. You need 3 branches. And we're going to go up a little higher here. I don't know if I have it. So we have this 4th one over here. You know, we're going to have to sacrifice them. I put in 4. Let's see. Oh, good. So I've got some root on this. I could replant that. I could replant. So look, let's just do it right now. We'll get a container. I know I said to use a clean one and a sterilized one, but don't worry about that. So what we're going to do is get some soil over here and get it from the bottom. Okay, and then what we're going to do is that we're just going to take this one that I ripped out, dig a hole, put him in just like that. Nice. I should get a stick to stick them up. I don't have a sticker upper over here, do I? That's okay. Don't worry about it. And we're going to get some water into them. Put a little bit of water into that. Hydrate it, because that was a pretty traumatic experience. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put them with the rest of our plants right here. And then I won't have to worry about this for quite some time. Okay, so here we go. Let me show you. I'm going to braid this together. By braiding this together, we are bringing three plants. They have to be of the same kind of plant though. You don't want 3 different ones because your growth on it is going to be different. And so come on over here. This is what we're going to do. So we have to have a braid, and you have one over the other. See what I did there? We're going to have one over the other, 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 and we just do like this. You see that? It's just that simple. Now, it's off in the container right here, from here to there. It's off in the container. Don't worry about it. If you want, you could put a little twisty tie on here, or you know how you get those things from your bread, and you take the bread and you put it on, that holds the bread together. You could put that on there. You just don't want anything that's going to take and choke the plant out. And then what we'll do is we'll get some water on this thing. That feels so good. And then we're going to do the same exact thing as we did with our friend over here. We're going to put them right there, and before you know it, that's going to be uber awesome. Now, can I do that again? Absolutely. So let's see what we could do here. We could use rooting hormone. We don't have to use rooting hormone. I don't have any rooting hormone in here right now, but we could just do just like this. We'll get 3 of the strongest ones, the biggest ones. Let's get some more soil. And we're going to get our soil. This is how we get our greenhouse cleaned up on your time. I'm just going to stick that together. Just like this. Hopefully, now usually I like to put 4 because maybe one of them is not going to, go for it, work. Your chances do go up higher if you use rooting hormone. But yeah, that's all you got to do with this. And these are fun things that you could do with the kids. These are fun things you could do with yourselves. It really doesn't matter. And then the next thing here is to just try to keep things clean. So I'll make sure this all gets cleaned up. This little bit right here, we'll put this in the compost pile, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Recycle, reuse. We'll put that outside. This right here is just in a container. These are things that I like to grow and I just give to friends and people. So normally when they see me, they go, "Oh no, he's bringing another spider plant." Well, we've already learned on the program that it's really easy for us to take these and to grow them. So if I wanted to grow this particular plant, all I have to do is take this, put it on some soil like this, secure it down so that it doesn't plop up, and you're going to get roots out of that. But instead, what we're going to do here is we're just going to prune these off, and we're going to throw them away. I don't want them in here. It's taking energy away from the plant. I know who is going to get this plant, so I want to make sure that it's looking pretty decent when we end up doing this. So, wow, I can't believe how time flies, huh? So we did quite a bit today. What did we do? We learned about weed control. We learned that if you're going to be burning weeds, make sure you have a water source nearby so that you can put out a potential fire. Try not to, in fact, do not do it over any kind of anything else that's flammable. Stay away from buildings, stay away from the obvious. Use common sense with right here. You don't need a big old flamethrower to control weeds, but what you do need is some common sense. Make sure that when you do the weeds, you brush over them quickly, and only green weeds. Dry weeds will catch fire. We don't want that to happen. We're just burning off the waxy cuticle on that. We also found out what bird damage looks like. We saw the way that the scratches were on there. That's the way we know that it was a bird that was eating away, because there's little pointies at the edges. And then of course coming in here and doing some cleanup. So with that, if you want any other information and ideas or read any of my blogs, why don't you visit me at thingsgreen.com. Thanks for joining me on another excursion of Things Green. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain so you can become exposed to a green lifestyle inside and outside of the home and community, all on your terms. Join me next time right here as we help you with Things Green.